Have you ever wondered if leadership is something you're born with or something you become? Some people walk into a room and seem to carry authority without saying a word. Others spend years learning, failing, and adapting until one day they realize people naturally follow them. So which one are you? Were you born with leadership in your DNA? Or are you quietly building it through your actions every day? Here's the truth. Leadership isn't a title or a talent. It's a pattern, a set of invisible signals that others instinctively recognize. And the good news is those signals can be developed by anyone willing to practice them. In this video, we'll uncover the real difference between natural and learned leadership and reveal the subtle signs that show you who might be leading already, even if you don't realize it. If this message resonates with you, subscribe to Inside Leadership. It helps this channel grow and allows us to keep producing meaningful lessons that sharpen your influence and strengthen your presence. For centuries, people believed that leaders were chosen by fate, born with charisma, confidence, and vision that couldn't be taught. Kings, generals, CEOs, all seen as naturals. But modern science tells a different story. A study from the University College London found that only 30% of leadership ability is linked to genetics. The remaining 70% comes from environment, learning, and deliberate practice. That means leadership is less about birthright and more about behavior. Even historical icons, once believed to be born leaders, like Winston Churchill or Franklin D. Roosevelt, learned resilience through failure, mentorship, and constant self-reflection. Leaders aren't born polished. They're shaped by challenge. So if you don't feel like a natural leader yet, that's not a weakness. That's potential waiting to be practiced. There is something different about people who seem born to lead. They share a spark, an internal compass that others feel. That spark usually appears early in life. They step forward in moments of confusion. They organize groups instinctively. They feel responsible even when no one asks them to be. But here's the catch. That spark alone isn't enough. Without humility, discipline, and empathy, natural leadership burns out quickly. Think of Alexander the Great, gifted with strategy and confidence. Yet his empire collapsed within years of his death because it was built on conquest, not connection. Natural leadership is raw energy. Developed leadership is refined power. The magnetic leader doesn't just shine, they illuminate others. You may not have been born with that spark, but every day you make choices that shape how others see you. Leadership begins the moment you take responsibility for more than yourself. When you stop waiting for someone else to fix things and start asking, "What can I do?" That's when leadership starts to form, quietly, invisibly, in how you respond to life. Studies from Harvard Business Review show that people who consistently demonstrate accountability and calm during stress are rated as 45% more trustworthy by peers, regardless of their official position. In other words, people don't follow titles. They follow stability. So yes, some are born to lead, but anyone can choose to lead through consistency, empathy, and example. You might not realize it, but leadership leaves clues. Sign 1. People come to you for advice not because you have all the answers, but because you listen without judgment. That's empathy in action, the foundation of trust. Sign 2. You stay calm in chaos. When others panic, you observe first, react later. That's emotional regulation, the quiet superpower of leaders. Sign 3. You see potential in others, even when they don't see it themselves. You celebrate effort, not just results. That's how leaders create other leaders. Sign 4, you take ownership. When things go wrong, you ask, "What can I improve?" instead of "Who's to blame?" If you recognize even one of these signs, leadership is already alive in you. It may not have a name yet, but it's growing. Leadership, like strength, grows through resistance. Every time you confront discomfort, a difficult conversation, a tough decision, a personal failure, you're training the muscles of leadership. Resilience, patience, courage, empathy. None of these come from comfort. They're built through endurance. Think of Abraham Lincoln. He wasn't charismatic by nature. He failed in business, lost multiple elections, and battled depression. But through those failures, he developed clarity, compassion, and moral conviction that later guided a nation through war. Lincoln didn't inherit leadership. He earned it, one painful lesson at a time. The most inspiring leaders aren't those who've never fallen. They're the ones who kept learning while on the ground. One of the biggest differences between those who lead and those who follow is self-awareness. Leaders constantly study themselves, their strengths, their triggers, their tone. They're not obsessed with being right. They're obsessed with growing. According to psychologist Tasha Eurich, 95% of people think they're self-aware, but only 10 to 15% actually are. That gap explains why many talented professionals never become true leaders. Awareness transforms behavior. When you notice that your frustration affects others, you start managing it differently. When you realize that encouragement brings out more results than criticism, you change how you communicate. Leaders aren't those who have all the answers. They're the ones who are curious enough to keep asking the right questions. Leadership isn't loud. It's felt. Great leaders carry a frequency, a mix of calm, clarity, and confidence that others can sense. You've probably felt it before. That person who steadies a room just by being there. That's not coincidence. That's coherence, alignment between what they think, what they feel, and how they act. Leadership energy doesn't come from perfection. It comes from presence. And presence can be cultivated through mindfulness, reflection, or simply pausing before reacting. You build the ability to hold your energy steady. When you do that, people feel safe around you, and where there's safety, trust follows. Every person has leadership potential, but only those who practice leadership turn it into reality. Practice means showing up with intention, even when no one is watching. It means leading in small moments, calming a colleague, owning a mistake, offering hope in frustration. In leadership, there are no small actions. Every decision shapes the culture around you. A kind word at the right time can shift morale. A silent pause instead of anger can de-escalate conflict. A moment of courage can ignite trust that lasts years. Leadership isn't built in speeches. It's built in micro moments of awareness and choice. So, if you're waiting for permission to lead, you already have it. The question is, what will you do with it today? 3 reflections for today. Number 1, do people feel safer, calmer, or more confident after talking to me? Number 2, when I face difficulty, do I look for blame or for lessons? Number 3, what one action can I take today that reflects the leader I want to become? Some people are born with the instinct to lead. Others learn slowly through failure, reflection, and courage. But in the end, leadership isn't about genetics, it's about growth. You might have that spark naturally, or you might be shaping it every day. Either way, what matters is what you do with it. Because leadership isn't something you have. It's something you practice one moment, one choice, one act of courage at a time. If this video brought you value, please subscribe to Inside Leadership and share it with someone ready to grow as a leader. Together, we'll keep building a world where leadership means influence with integrity, not authority through fear.